Have you ever done any drugs?
Yes, I have.
How old were you the first time?
I was 14.
Rescue Me Productions and a couple of sessions, has that made a difference in your life?
Yeah, I'm much happier.
Much happier?
And I have more of a love for everything.
Right here is where my house used to be. I used to be a drug dealer, and I sold lots of drugs. And Chris used to be a kid that used to come and buy drugs for me. Him and lots of kids from down the street. They would walk. They would go through the woods here, and they would come to my house, which was here. One evening, me and a lot of friends were in this house, and we were rolling on ecstasy. And some kids came by and threw a bomb at my house. And everything, every part of my house, every single inch of my house burned down to the ground. All of it burned down, but one room that was left. I think the room was probably right here, somewhere around in here. Everything had burned down to the ground, but the one room we were in. I heard a knock on the window, and I looked out the window, and I saw a fireman. I was so messed up on drugs, I didn't know what was going on. He told us to get out the house. We ran. All of us ran out the house. When I got to about here, the house blew up. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm gonna go ask this lady if she remembers when that happened. Ma'am, do you remember when that house burned down? Huh? Do you? Can I ask you a question? What do you remember?
Breaking into glass and
What?
falling apart. I don't really want to be filmed.
Well, I think can I tell you what it's about first?
Yeah, turn that off, please.
I used to live in it. Alright, well she declined being filmed, but she said that she did remember
How are you?
the fire starting about 2 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea what time the fire started myself. No matter if you're living a life that's not right, God will burn it down. And He spared my life, and by Him sparing my life, that's just one time, but by Him sparing my life, I'm gonna live the rest of my life and seeing kids like him destroying their bowls, you know. And it takes people to get out in the street, and it takes people to support with prayers, financially, whatever it is, you know, to stop houses from burning down, to stop lives from ending, you know. It's so important. It's so important. It really is. Car right here is, I call it the love machine. It was given to our ministry by a guy at a convenience store. We were just walking in a convenience store, and the guy just literally comes up to us and says, here, God told me to give you guys this car, and He told me to use it for God's will.
I forget how the relationship started, but there was an old man, and he had a at-home radio program that he would broadcast from his living room. And this man was an old country fogey kind of guy, really nice. But we were walking into a rest stop or something one day with Dimitri, or a gas station, and this guy walks up and he just basically says, God's told me to give you a car. And at that time, Dimitri really needed a car. He was asking God for a vehicle. But it was neat to see that was the relationship that God chose, was this you know, old guy that was doing something completely different with his ministry, and then taking Dimitri, which is nothing but color, and bringing them together. And only God can use Dimitri and some old fogey that has a you know, radio program coming out of his living room, and using both of them together, and just seeing that work was really cool.
The car's not pretty, as you can see. It's not pretty at all, but I tell you, to me it's the most beautiful thing, because it's a gift from heaven. It's a gift from heaven. And this car is on the road when it's working, when it's actually moving. It actually needs a new windshield and a lot of other new things, but
It's actually working every day. It's doing God's will, taking kids to church, picking kids up, ministering into their lives. You know, it's a vehicle used for God. So even though it may not be a Corvette, it's awesome. And it is so beautiful. And I thank God for it.